It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Rose, answer. Yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on in to another edition of the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker, streaming on 1069thefan.com and on the 1069 The Fan mobile app. Also on the radio, 1069 FM, 1390 AM. Lots of different ways to follow along, listen to the show. And last hour is already on the podcast feed. And yesterday we didn't have a live show, but they didn't stop us from still turning the mics on and recording an emergency podcast. I don't know if it's emergency, but
it wasn't emergency. It was just kind of a makeup one because obviously had the postponement of the Steelers-Bills game, and that ended up being moved into our time slot where they start at 2:30, and since NFL games were like 6 hours, it ate the rest of our show. So we just decided, heck, about the time the Steelers-Bills game started was about when we stepped into the studio and said, let's record and, throw everything together. An hour long of just straight local news.
A lot of reactions to of all local stuff, at least of local connections.
Yeah, local or local related, obviously. High school basketball, straight here in the Valley. Utah State playing at UNLV, and then, NFL connections, Jordan Love, getting a win with the Packers at Dallas. So, yeah, a lot that we covered there. So you can go back and basically see our Reaction Monday podcast episode.
Yeah, I know we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about Jordan Love, but we didn't have a chance to really know about Devin Tompkins and his impact in his playoff game for Tampa Bay. And he did have an impact. He did help the Buccaneers.
Yeah, in a typical way, he caught one pass for 4 yards. He had a 10-yard rush. He had 2 punt returns for 24 yards and a 27-yard kick return. So he's carved out a little niche for himself as a kick returner, punt, just as a return specialist, an overall return specialist. The guy with that top-end speed, they can be a returner. But he's also good enough, and this is how he's able to stick on this roster as well as he has so far for a couple of years. He also provides some value as like a 5th or 6th wide receiver, and throw him in there every now and again. He runs the ball a few times.
Gave him a first down.
He's got about as many runs as he does receptions, I think, this season, where they'll run him on a fly sweep. They'll throw a quick pass to him. So we'll see how well he's truly able to stick to rosters, but he's contributing in the NFL after starting out his career on a practice squad.
Yeah, super exciting to see that playing out for him. Certainly Jordan Love is excelling at a different level.
Yeah, he's spent 2-3 years sitting on the bench.
3 years.
He got one start when Aaron Rodgers was out, and the Packers basically said, you're not allowed to throw the ball beyond 5 yards. I think it was frustrating watching the game. I was like, it's like it was the game plan they'd have at quarterback if I was playing. And not like a first-round pick.
Well, it's fascinating to just see his development over the course of this year alone, because early in the season, it was kind of shaky. But it wasn't just him. There were a lot of other young players on that squad who were trying to figure things out. So it was kind of a combining problem that the Green Bay had to figure out.
Yeah, I think they needed to figure things out, get their offense rolling. They had a lot of young players. Jordan Love, not the only fairly young player. A lot of first- or second-year wide receivers, a lot of injuries, a lot of guys banged up on the offensive line. The defense wasn't playing super well. So, yeah, they started the year 2-5 or something like that, 3-6. And then finishing the season with 1 loss in the last 8 weeks.
And Jordan Love playing as the highest-rated quarterback over the last 8 or 9 weeks.
Yeah, statistically pretty much the best quarterback for the last 8-9 weeks. And, yeah, turning a season where the Packers were thinking about tanking and drafting Caleb Williams or whoever, the top, quarterback is coming in. They're like, maybe move on from Jordan Love. It's like, oh, wait, this guy's really good. So it's a lot of fun for Aggie fans following the NFL, unless you were in that unfortunate combination of being a Cowboys fan and an Aggies fan. Then it was a little interesting.
Complicated day for you. But let's look at the Mountain West Conference. Utah State is now the only ranked team in both the in the AP poll. San Diego State is still ranked in the coaches poll. But last week there were 3 Mountain West Conference teams that were ranked. But besides the rankings, there are a number of Mountain West teams that are scoring high in a lot of different metrics. And it has some people wondering how many teams out of the Mountain West will get to the NCAA tournament. The high water mark of a few years back was 5. Then it went down, it regressed down to 2, started to build back up again. And were there 4 teams that went last year?
Yeah, it was 4.
It's 4. And so could the Mountain West send 6 teams this year?
Yeah, this is something that I saw. I think it was the Field of 68. Let's put out a tweet of somebody like 6-bid Mountain West, and they put together like the resume, like combined it all and showing that, right now, I mean, if you look at it, I throw my average computer ranks, and the Mountain West has 6 teams that are universally considered top 60 teams. Out of 8 different computer metrics, every single one has every team inside the top 60. Or, top 61. Somebody ranks Colorado State at 61, and I don't know why. Especially when they're like the number 1 team in average rank, but somebody randomly hates Colorado State. It's probably ESPN. They hate the Mountain West. But, a lot of these, the high mark for a lot of these teams will be in like the 40s, the 20s. Utah State, when I posted this out yesterday, they were 19th in the net. Now they're 20th in the net today. Moved slightly, but you've got 6 teams that all have legitimate NCAA tournament aspirations. Do they all get there? I've been pretty firmly like 4 is the cap. Like I'm not even considering 4 is the cap. But I decided to humor that and say, all right, what would it look like if we're getting a 6-bid Mountain West? Because we had this song and dance last year, except it was 5-bid last year. But we were doing this song and dance. Mountain West barely got 4. Nevada was a surprise addition.
Right,
a lot of people that didn't think Nevada would get in, they did. So you end up with 4 when most people were thinking 3. And so really, for me, you have to have essentially 3 things. And you talk about how likely these are. But for one, you'd need these 6 teams. So it's Colorado State, San Diego State, New Mexico, Utah State, Nevada, and Boise State. Those are your 6 teams that you're looking at that all have these legit tournament aspirations. You need them to basically all split with each other. Like if you have a conference champion that's got like 2 or 3 losses, like I think San Diego State was kind of that way last year, you're not getting 6 teams because some team's going to get left out. They're not going to have enough quad 1 wins. They're going to have too many losses. You end up with 4 or 5. So basically all these teams have to split with each other. You also have to have essentially 0 upsets. I mentioned those like bottom 4 teams. No losses by any of these 6 teams to San Jose State, Air Force, Fresno State, Wyoming. Maybe UNLV. Maybe UNLV on the road.
Yes.
And then you also probably have to have, of all these teams, whoever is kind of in that 5th or 6th like borderline, they probably have to win the Mountain West tournament to get them in. And then, or like make the tournament, the championship game, probably win it. Because then, all the teams at the top, they're expected to get at-larges anyway. The team that's on the edge, they get in no matter what. It's like you basically have to have all 3 of those things. Like, is that likely?
Yeah, that's asking a lot.
That is, like, all of them. It's not like one of those. You have to have all of them. But furthermore, I was looking at it and I said, how would I try and project how these teams might end up the rest of the season? So I went to KenPom, and they have game-by-game win-loss projections for all these teams. And so I decided, okay, let's just take those records and let's kind of see how these teams would look at the end of the year. Take today's net rankings, do all the calculations, what their records would look like. And to be honest, if the KenPom projections are what ends up happening, that's probably what a 6-bid Mountain West would look like. Because basically, with that, it projects wins over, there's no upset. It doesn't project upsets typically. So everyone's taking care of business.
If the favored team is going to win.
Yeah, everyone's taking care of business, and basically everyone in these top 6 end up going like 2-4. They lose the road game against the rest of the top 6. They win their home games. So they all end up with, roughly the same record. They all end up with decent quad 1. Here's what would be the projected quad 1 if the KenPom projections panned out. San Diego State would be 4-7 in quad 1. Utah State would be 3-5. New Mexico 3-6. Colorado State 2-4. Nevada 4-5. Boise State 5-5. So everyone ends up with 3, 4, maybe even 5 quad 1 wins.
But nobody with a winning record.
Yeah, they'd all have losing records. They would all have winning records. Actually, most of them would have winning records in quad 1, quad 2 combined. Funnily enough, New Mexico and Nevada would end up with losing records in quad 1, quad 2 combined. Because they both had some losses in quad 2. So, this is as close as you're going to get. Everyone would basically end up getting 3 or 4 losses the rest of the way. They're splitting with each other, and they all end up with somewhere between 24 and 26 wins. And
Except
even then,
Boise.
Boise, their projection is
21.
Yeah, 21-8. Although they'd end up with the most quad 1 wins. And they'd be 5-5 in quad 1. They'd be the closest to having a winning record. So they'd have 21 wins, but a pretty impressive resume as far as the number of wins, quality wins they have. But yeah, even then, I'm just not sold that would work. Because, this is probably the high watermark for all of these teams. Where, they're all having 1, 2, 3 losses on the year. A couple of them have 4. And even then, we talked about bracket matrix earlier, how there's 4 teams in, there's 2 on the outside looking in. I just don't know how these teams are each going to pick up. Again, best case scenario, each of them only picks up about 4 losses each. We expect them to go up in the rankings. Especially, teams like New Mexico and Boise State, they need to go on a run. They need to get some more quality wins.
Yeah.
But the only teams they can get them against are teams that they would then be bumping down. So, can they all survive getting bumped down while they lift up New Mexico and Boise State? And again, this is the best case scenario for a 6-bid Mountain West for these KenPom win-loss projections to be accurate. Because you're splitting it even. Pretty much everyone wins at home. You lose on the road. Nobody gets upset. And I'm still not sold that it works.
Yeah, 6 teams out of the Mountain West seems like a real stretch. 5 teams, you maybe start to make an argument for that. A good team, a decent team out of the Mountain West is going to be on the outside looking in. 4 teams at minimum. At minimum.
I'd only say 3 minimum, to be honest.
I just look San Diego State, Utah State, Colorado State. What they've been able to do so far. And then it's some combination of those other 3. New Mexico, Nevada, Boise, to get that 4th one at minimum. So I think 4 is my floor. 5 depends on what happens over the next month and a half.
Yeah, for me, I'd say 3 is the floor. 4 is the most likely. 5 is the stretch goal. The 5 is the one where you're probably going to get 4 teams that are pretty comfortably in that at-large bid talk. And then if you end up with a 5th that wins the tournament. That's where I think you get 5. That's about the only way I see that happening. But even then, I wouldn't be surprised if the committee just bumps out the team that's 4th and just still goes with 4. Just as we're going to go with that. I don't, the Mountain West has a lot of respect, but I don't know if they have that much respect. But again, it just depends on if these teams can all stay fairly even. Because where they're at now, there's 4 pretty comfortably in. They're not just in because you look at where their seeds are. They're not 12, 11, last 4 in types. They're 5, 6, 8 seeds.
Favored teams.
Yeah. So that's where they're sitting at. So they have room to fall. And they're going to fall.
So San Diego State's run last year in the tournament was great for the conference. But outside of that, the conference doesn't have a great track record over the last several years of getting beyond the first round.
Yeah, the problem is you've consistently been sending 2, 3, sometimes even 4 teams to the tournament. And since like 2018-19, so what are we looking at, 5-6 years just about, you have 2 decent runs where I think Nevada made it to like the...
Nevada made it to the Sweet 16.
And then San Diego State obviously, going all the way to the Final Four. So other than that, everyone's winless. I don't think anybody else has even won a game in the tournament, despite consistently sending multiple teams.
I think Nevada won their play-in, the first 4 last year.
I thought they lost that one. You may be right, though.
Not sure. But
I'm a double check.
the point is, the Mountain West doesn't really have a great track record of success in the NCAA tournament outside of a few teams in a few instances. San Diego State has had a few runs. Nevada has had its share in the past. But overall, the Mountain West has struggled to send teams deeper into the playoff or into the bracket, which makes those decision makers a little bit wary of sending multiple teams. Like, okay, the metrics look great for your regular season or for your conference, but when we send you all these teams to the tournament, you don't perform.
Yeah, that's the next step. And that's kind of the difference right now between the Mountain West and like the Power 5, because they end up facing the Power for the Power 6, I guess, because the Big East is there in basketball. Although it's going to go back down to Power 5.
Yeah.
In basketball.
Pac-12 dissolving.
But, yeah, it usually just comes down to athleticism combined with skill, because you get a bunch of teams that can either be athletic, and they can be decently athletic, or have lots of skill. Like a lot of the Aggie teams have been really skilled teams, but have often lacked athleticism or higher. There's always like this one key, between like skill, size, athleticism. They always seem to be just missing maybe one of them. And then these, Power 6 teams, they've usually got all 3. And it's just really hard to beat teams that are also as skilled as you, and they're bigger, and they're faster. And you can, but then there's also the fact that a lot of these Mountain West teams end up as the lower seed. So not only are they playing, teams in bigger conferences that tend to have more athletic, as skilled, and bigger players.
Better records.
It's the good teams.
Yes.
Like the teams that definitely have skill and definitely have athleticism and definitely have size, because that's how they ended up with a 24-6 record
had success
in the ACC or the SEC. And so that makes it even harder, because the Aggies probably had a decent chance when they were going against like a Texas Tech or especially a Washington, but those teams just had more size, athleticism, and about as much skill as those Aggie teams did. They were just able to beat them, and that's where you worry about this year's team. Like, do they have that? We've been kind of noticing that the Aggies are more athletic this year, but they are a little small, especially in the backcourt. We're not really lacking size in the front court. You got Osborne, Isaac Johnson starting there, and Sacco coming off the bench, but you're starting 3 guards that are 6'3". Can that last? I don't know. It's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. A couple of texts coming through before we take our break. 8968 texting in. I don't care how many teams get into the big dance. I just don't want the Aggies helping anyone. Yeah, you don't want a team to get in because they beat Utah State.
Well, we're going to be...
Obviously, you want USU to continue to improve their own resume.
They're going to be somebody's best win.
It's going to be really, really hard for this team to keep winning and win all of their conference games. Yeah, because the conference is just too good.
Yeah, so they're not going to lose less than 4 games in conference play. Like if they only have 2 or 3 losses in conference play, I'll be floored. I'll be like, I will not believe that.
8003 texting in. I watched the broadcast of the Logan versus Mountain Crest the other night. Please stop saying pick 6 on a breakaway steal. Also, you might want to avoid saying we're going to grab our bearings. My teen boys lost it when you said that.
Just get our bearings, establish. Yeah, maybe
grab our bearings.
I don't know. I usually say pick 6 in the breakaway steal because it resembles a pick 6.
Oh.
But yeah, I probably say a lot of weird things. I also use the term out of control shank. A player's name was Shank.
Oh.
Double entendre there.
9315. After last year of San Diego State making it so far in the tournament, I think they look more favorable to the Mountain West. Yeah, and I think that that certainly can help the conference, bring a little bit more attention to it. When it's helped the West Coast Conference when Gonzaga has made these deep runs, because everybody has to play Gonzaga, so it's going to improve their team to try to knock them off or face them.
Yeah, but they all lost to Gonzaga.
And it's going to get a lot of but it's going to also improve the national profile. There's probably going to be a few more nationally televised games featuring San Diego State versus other teams in the Mountain West.
Yeah, it definitely helped St. Mary's. They're a team that's been very good in their own right, and having that joint exposure with Gonzaga, I don't know if you can call it joint exposure, riding the coattails of Gonzaga. One way or the other, they've gotten a lot of exposure because of that, and they've been able to show everyone how good they are. Hence, they've made a lot of tournaments last little while.
Yeah. All right, we've got a few more texts coming in. We'll get to those. We're going to take a timeout here in the Full Court Press. We'll get to those.
We're going to grab our bearings.
We're going to grab our bearings here on the Full Court Press. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Elements has delicious lunch specials. Soup, salad, and bread for just $10 is tasty and quick. Elements' lunch menu is full of scrumptious items. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecued chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite, Chipotle fried chicken sandwich. Thursdays, enjoy Elements house-made smoked brisket, casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations.
Happy New Year! You survived the holidays. This is Jarek at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Did you meet the family during the holidays? How was that? Is it time to go engagement ring shopping? Valentine's Day is coming, but why wait? Do it now. Bring her in and view our collection of over 3,000 rings. With many of them being our own custom designs, I know we will find the perfect one. At Jarek's Fine Jewelry, we make it special. So come make it Jarek.
Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special. Make it Jarek's.
Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance. Come learn all about Medicare and Social Security. The third Thursday, January 18th at 7 p.m. Call 752-9493 for details. It's never too early to plan for the future. Making an informed decision is key. We will answer all your questions and help you feel confident moving forward. Come the third Thursday, January 18th at 7 p.m. Call LSS at 752-9493 to RSVP. Walk-ins welcome.
Locker 42 is a store for Utah State fans. Many of the items you'll find there are custom, one-of-a-kind, produced by Locker 42. Such production allows for the best possible prices and custom orders that are unheard of at this level, and is one of the highest contributing licensees for royalty sales. Your purchase at Locker 42 is supporting scholarships and student athletes. Hoodies, t-shirts, hats, jackets, everything Aggie is at Locker 42. Locker 42, a store for Aggie fans by Aggie fans.
Hello, Cache Valley. This is Tom Hale at Blue Sky Restoration, formerly ARS. Remember, got a mess? Call ARS. We want to let you know that here at Blue Sky, we still have the same great staff, we provide the same excellent service, and are ready to help you in your time of need with water mitigation, mold remediation, or a fire. From Blue Sky Restoration, thank you for trusting our staff and myself for over 35 years with your disaster needs, and we will continue to be here for you.
Westwood One is the only place for exclusive audio coverage of every NFL postseason game. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join us throughout the month of January and into February as we bring you Super Wildcard Weekend, the Divisional Round, Championship Sunday, and of course Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. All 13 NFL playoff games are on Westwood One. If it's the NFL playoffs, it's right here.
On Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. Following the local teams, it's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Well, welcome back to Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. Is the Mountain West a 6-bid league?
No.
Probably not.
That's the answer. We spent 20 minutes or 10, 20 minutes discussing 36-bit league, and we were both like, no.
Yeah, 5. I think 5 is within the realm of possibility. 4 is the floor for me.
I just have a problem with that because we were having the same conversation last year, and we barely got 4.
Right now, there's 6 teams that are in the top 50 of the net.
Yeah, it's like there's teams that are very respected, and 6 teams have, as I said, 6 teams have legitimate tournament aspirations, but that does not mean 6 teams are going to get in because they all have to play each other, and they're all going to be at risk of getting upset. It's one bad game, you slip up against UNLV because there's 2 or 3 of these teams are going to be real bubble teams.
Yeah,
there's going to be 3 teams that are comfortably in, maybe 4 that are comfortably in. Then there's going to be a couple of bubble teams, and then they're going to hyperanalyze like, oh, you lost to San Jose State on the road. Well, that was just the one bad game. Well, you end up nitpicking these rosters. And a lot of those teams in the bubble are going to have bad games, good games. Just going to depend. You're at the mercy of the committee at that point. And I just don't see them putting 5 in, much less 6.
Utah State's 2-1 in quad 1 games. Colorado State is 1-2. San Diego State is 2-3. New Mexico 1-2. Nevada 2-0. Boise 3-1. So there's a number of schools there that have winning records in quad 1s. And it's about split, really. It's half and half. Have winning records and half that don't.
Yeah, these teams have solid resumes. They all do right now. Like I said, bracket matrix. There's 4 teams that are considered not only in, but comfortably so. All 4, 8 seeds or higher. 8 seeds or better. 2 teams on the outside looking. I think I forget which was it. It's Boise State. That's like they might be in that first 4 out. I can't remember if they're like the 5th or 6th.
Let's see. I've got it pulled up right here. They would be in the last 4 out. First 4 out.
They'd be the first 4 out.
Yes.
I think they're like that 4th team.
The 4th team. Yeah.
In that first 4
Then New
out.
Mexico is part of the next 4 out.
Yeah. It's like they're on the outside looking in. They're in, Boise State's bordering on being in half the brackets. New Mexico's in a handful of brackets. But, of course, both are like New Mexico's 36th in the net and Boise State's 44th in the net. So,
of 61 brackets, Boise State is in 25 of them. New Mexico is in 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
There's still a lot of basketball to be played.
Yeah, there is, and that's the thing. The lot's going to change. Utah State, they're probably thinking they're going to end up losing tonight in New Mexico. If they win, then holy heck, this is a dang good team. But, if they lose, then that sets you back a little bit. The Aggies jump back. They go from 16th in the AP poll probably back to 19th or 20th. They, jump from 20th in the net maybe down to 24th, 25th. In Ken Palm, they drop. And a lot of these other things, then, you probably end up losing at San Diego State. And every time this happens, they drop. And there's only going to be so many games where they can have that big bump back in the right direction. Unless they get one of those road wins, which are dang hard to get. Unless this Aggie team is truly special, you're looking at 5 or 6 losses the rest of the way. Additional losses.
Yeah, Utah State's quad 1 road games still on the schedule. At Colorado State, at San Diego State, at New Mexico, at Boise.
Yeah, they've got the gauntlet to go. There's going to be plenty of those games.
Those are road games only that I just mentioned.
Yeah, and they're going to be playing some teams they're going to beat. They're going to end up with 10 conference wins, probably at least. But, that's just one example. Because a lot of these other teams, they're also going to be losing some road games. So you expect the Aggies to win some of their home games because you're going to host Nevada and New Mexico and San Diego State and Boise State. And if they win those, then suddenly you're handing all those teams losses. Because road wins are going to be pretty rare between these top 6 teams. We did get one. Boise State beat Nevada on the road.
Yeah, that was the challenge last year for Utah State getting quad 1 games to try to help their resume. Every time they'd have a quad 1 game, they'd beat the opponent and knock them out of the quad 1 territory. So at the end of the season, there were very few quad 1 games on the resume, and really those didn't come until the very end of the season and in the tournament. So your best games on the resume came late February, early March. This year's team, obviously, it's a very different story,
Yeah.
but there's still that risk. Some teams are on the edge there that if they lose a couple games, they might slip out of that area that's considered a quad one.
Yeah, I do like the Aggies' chances at this point. But a lot of that just depends on if they hold home court the rest of the way and win the road games against those Fresno State, San Jose State, etc. If they win those, if they sweep those, hold at home against the rest of these top 6, they'll get into the tournament because they'll have enough at that point, and will obviously get more quad one wins.
Getting back to the full court press text line, by the way, 6891 has an interesting text. We'll get to that in a minute when we talk about the NFL. But 9315 texting in, I think the way the season for the Aggies has gone with great play and lots of luck, they surprised Jason, and his talk looks not so great. This is one of them rare years. Things just line up.
Yeah, they've proven me wrong. I've eaten some crow. I said 20 wins is the max, and they have 16 with 14 games left.
They're going to surpass that.
So I was wrong. And, yeah, I've doubted them in a lot of the ways. And Coach Sprinkle kind of went off. I don't think he was thinking me, but it's like there's this continual, we haven't done this yet, haven't done that yet. And this is kind of the next thing because, like, oh, have you played at the pit yet? It's like, well, no, but we haven't had a chance to do that yet. So
yeah,
they're just going to have to do that and see if they get the win there.
There's a previous text I want to get to from 9315, kind of pivoting here, still talking about the Mountain West, but who do you think will fill the vacancy with the open head coaching spot for football? I think if that's related to San Jose, I'm not aware of Utah State having any vacancies.
I'm hoping there's not a head coaching vacancy. Otherwise, that's a nasty surprise.
Yeah, but Brennan leaving San Jose State to go to Arizona. So Nick Saban stepping aside and retiring from football. The dominoes have cascaded into the Mountain West. The head coach from Washington leaves there to go fill the Alabama job. The head coach from Arizona leaves there to take the Washington job. And now the head coach at San Jose State is leaving there to go to Arizona, which is kind of a surprising pick, to be honest. I think Brennan is a good coach. I think he's proven to be a high character guy. But it's not a ton of success, not a great resume at San Jose State. But I have to consider, what did he do with what he had to work with? And it is pretty solid with what he's done at San Jose.
Yeah, it's a resume based entirely in the context of he managed to have winning records at San Jose State when they, like I said, they went how many straight years without a winning record? They had that 10-2 season. That was kind of an outlier. But they were a team that was a lot like the Aggies of the early 2000s, where they were happy probably to get 6 wins. Although, funnily enough, Brennan comes in and had seasons where he started 2 of 11 and 1 of 11. 1-11, where it's like he had 3 wins in 2 seasons. Stuck around, but that paid off because then only a couple years later he's winning the Mountain West with a 7-1 record. But he ends up capping out at 7 wins. They go 5-7 the next year, then 7-5, 7-6. So I don't know. He did a good job at San Jose State. If they think he's a good X's and O's coach, and if you hand him the good resources, and if he knows how to recruit, which he had to recruit to San Jose State, which I know location great, but team not so much.
Yeah.
Arizona.
And he really developed the defensive culture.
Yeah.
At San Jose.
So he did some good things. So and Arizona's going to be facing a pretty tough, not the most tough thing because it's the Big 12, and it's not going to be the Big 12 of yesteryear. But there's a chance they can do something. Arizona hasn't been anything special in football for a while, but
yeah,
San Jose State. But San Jose State wasn't anything special in football, and Brennan, at least for 1 year, made them something special.
Yeah. Okay, trying to get to some of these other texts.
Yeah, we had several texts comes in, and they're all on so many different topics.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to 6891. Love and Purdy had pretty much the same stat line for the year. Brock Purdy, at certain points late in the season, was being discussed as a potential MVP.
Yeah, he had some of the better efficiency stats. He's really high completion percentage, had, I think, the best yards per attempt. I think he had the best QBR, like the total QBR, and one of the best, if not the best, passer rating. And so, yeah, when I was talking earlier where Jordan Love, I was talking like stat comparisons for the last like 7-8 weeks, it was Jordan Love who's consistently 1-2 in a lot of those stats, and Brock Purdy was in several of those as well, such as completion percentage and yards per attempt and a lot of different things. Purdy didn't have like blow you away counting stats. 31 touchdowns, impressive, but not like, usually MVP you're looking like 40 or more, especially with the 17 games. And he had 4,200 yards passing, but still that was in 16 games, which 4,000 yards in 16 games used to kind of be that benchmark of being a good quarterback. But he was hyper efficient, productive enough, like 31 touchdowns or 11 interceptions. And Jordan Love is obviously pretty similar in a lot of ways. I think he barely crossed over 4,000 yards, 30-plus touchdowns. I forget how many interceptions he had. It wasn't that many.
Not that many. He's been very a lot more efficient, very few interceptions over these last 2 months.
Yeah. But yeah, those two both playing really well late in the season. They were probably the two best quarterbacks last half of the season. And obviously, San Francisco and Green Bay had two of the best records over the last 70 weeks of the season.
And they square off this weekend.
Yeah, that's true. They're probably two of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. One's the 7 seed, one's the 1 seed. It's kind of interesting there.
Let's see, 4781 texting in, where do the Jazz finish the season? I predict the 5 or 6 seed.
I'd say that's a bit high. I mean, they're playing as good as some of the teams that are going to finish 5 or 6. And I guess if they keep on their winning rate over, the same winning rate they've had, they could finish that high. I just don't necessarily see that happening. I'd say more like their peak is maybe that 6 seed, but probably more 7 or 8, somewhere in the play-in. Is if they're really if what they're doing right now really is the team they've started to become, they will be in the play-in.
Yeah.
I think they are in the play-in right now. And then they'll just rise. It just depends on how much they can rise. If they can avoid having another stretch where they play poorly. If they can avoid some injuries. If they don't trade away some of their key players, then they could climb into that, maybe into that 6. 5's a little high for me, but they're suddenly playing like a completely different team.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Well, they're 2.5 games out of being in the 5th spot. That's it.
Is it really that close?
That's it. It's really not that far away.
Oh, man,
it's a very tight Western Conference.
I might have to rethink that then. maybe 5 or 6 is possible, I guess. I'm not going to say no because I thought this team was going to be horrible earlier on, and they completely turned it around. So I don't know if I can make any more predictions. We've already established how not very good I am at that with my Utah State prediction.
8968. I don't think the Aggies think they're going to lose. Others might think so, but Aggies don't.
Oh, the Aggies shouldn't think. If the Aggies think they're going to lose, they shouldn't have even gotten on the plane to New Mexico.
Yeah, no. I don't think we've advocated that at all.
I'm just being a doubting Thomas.
Yeah. It's going to be tough. Tough environment. A very talented team. I think the matchups are a little more favorable, strength on strength for Utah State tonight versus where it was Saturday. But the Aggies are the last 3 games, maybe. I'd say the last 3 games have been a little bit slow getting going. And that'll be tough to pull out a win tonight if that happens again.
Yeah, it's possible, and it's a testament to this team that I very much think it's possible. I very much think that they can win. I just think that, you're playing a really good team at their place. You go in with the expectation they're probably going to lose, but knowing they can win, and I won't be surprised if the Aggies win. I just have my prediction would be the Aggies lose.
5452. Jason, do you not consider this team special already? Seems like you are always moving the target. Pretty sure they will be better than your initial projection.
So I guess this comes from when I said it would be truly special if it'd have to be something truly special, like win this game and I think also maybe only lose 2 or 3. But there is already something special about this team. And that's that they are 16-1 given what happened. And heck, even if what happened in the offseason didn't happen, this would already be something of a special team, starting 16-1. It's like the 4th. At one point, they were the 4th best start. They may have climbed up to a borderline 3rd best start in program history. Like the best one, they started like 27-1 or something like that, give or take a win or two. It's like there's already something special about this team. But I'm talking about being a team that's able to win on the road against a really good, team in New Mexico. That's something truly special. Like that's why I added the truly special. It's an extra qualifier on there.
Yeah, it's already been a very special season.
To where in like the 16th rank in the AP, that's like, aside from when they were ranked 15th a couple years back, it's their highest rank since the 60s. Like it's either early 60s or late 60s. So for me, they are special, but there is an extra special that would be shown if they're able to win these games, in the pit at San Diego State. Not only tough road games, but really dang good teams. Because they showed their special by beating a 13th ranked Colorado State team at home. But it's a different ball game being able to win those games on the road. Because that's the thing that San Diego State was doing. Like, there were good teams in the Mountain West. And there's San Diego State. They win in the Spectrum. They win at everybody else's house. And that's the next level. The Aggies have ascended to a 16-1 longest win streak in the country. But there is still a next level that they can reach.
All right, we got to take a time out. There's more texts coming in. We'll get to those. We also need to do the stat that blew our minds and our player of the week, and look to the NFL playoff matchups for this upcoming weekend. Coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Do you have a fireplace or stove that isn't working right? Don't wait until winter to get it fixed. Get ahead of the game and get your fireplace or stove serviced now by the best of Northern Utah winter, Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They service everything from Quadra-Fire pellet stoves to heat and glow fireplaces. Get a 20% discount on your next service and labor when you mention this ad. Call 752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Nearly 21 years ago, Cafe Sabor opened their doors in historic Logan train station. With the help of hundreds of amazing employees and patronage of thousands of wonderful customers, Cafe Sabor is proud to have been voted 3 years in a row Cache Valley's favorite Mexican restaurant in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Follow Cafe Sabor on social media for giveaways and promotions. Search Cafe Sabor for a restaurant near you. Thank you, Cache Valley, from your friends at Cafe Sabor.
Adams Wealth Advisors loves hearing, "We know our money is being watched over. They take care of it. I'm not worried. Adams knows what to do." Every time I call Adams Wealth Advisors, they have the answers.
This is Craig Adams. At Adams Wealth Advisors, we are here to help you receive peace of mind, whether you've done a lot of planning or a little planning. Count on our team at Adams Wealth Advisors for honesty, professionalism, and integrity.
Visit AdamsWealthAdvisors.com or call 752-1702 to schedule a time with an advisor today.
Guys, are you thinking about testosterone therapy but unsure if it's safe for you? Let the specialists at Budge Clinic Urology guide you in making the right decision. With their expertise in men's health, they offer evidence-based treatment for low testosterone, ED, and urinary issues. Plus, they're the go-to experts in prostate cancer screening and cutting-edge robotic surgery. If you're considering a vasectomy, call Budge Clinic Urology today at 435-716-1450 to schedule a quick consultation. Trust Doctors Lusney, Bassett, Heiner, and John McVeigh for your men's health needs. Hablamos Español.
Westwood One is the only place for exclusive audio coverage of every NFL postseason game. Hi, this is Scott Graham. Join us throughout the month of January and into February as we bring you Super Wildcard Weekend, the Divisional Round, Championship Sunday, and of course Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. All 13 NFL playoff games are on Westwood One. If it's the NFL playoffs, it's right here.
On Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. The Aggies are #1 here. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Crystal Vision, 3-time gold medal winner in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Stop in there today with your prescription. Let them fit your glasses to you. And if you're looking for glasses with character, that's a great place to go. Take it in. They'll fit your prescription, fit a pair of glasses to your style. 14th North in Logan or crystalvision.com, crystal with a K.
Before you jump in, I know we want to piggyback off of some there. 0366, forgive me. You sent a text to Jason, what do you mean the Aggies turned it around? I'm forgetful, and I forget where I said that. So if you can help me out a little bit, because I don't want to run away from a question, but I'm forgetful.
Help us understand the context.
Yeah, just help me out a little bit so I can answer your text a little bit better. But yeah.
You heard the promo there during the break. We're going to have the divisional round games here on the Fan. And so 2 games on Saturday, starting at 2:30, Texans at the Ravens. And then at 6:15, Jordan Love and the Packers go to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers. So we've got a doubleheader on Saturday, and then on Sunday, another doubleheader. Devin Tompkins and the Buccaneers travel to Detroit to take on the Lions. That's going to be at 1 o'clock in the NFC divisional playoffs. And then at 4:30, it's the Chiefs at the Bills in the AFC. A lot of interesting games going on this weekend. By the way, the 49ers favored by 9.5. Baltimore favored by 7.5. Detroit favored by 6.5. And Buffalo by 3. All the home teams favored. The narrowest one is the later one on Sunday with the Chiefs at the Bills.
Yeah, and that's one where it's another Chiefs-Bills.
Yeah, but this one is in Buffalo.
That's true. So a little advantage there. We'll see if they can, if the Bills can finally figure something out. It feels like I haven't been following the NFL as much as I used to. That'll be a game to watch out for as far as storylines. But obviously, I'll be keeping an eye on the NFC a little bit more, mostly because I'm kind of rooting for Detroit. I really want to see Detroit have success, but I also kind of want to see Packers have success because of Jordan Love. So probably be rooting for those two teams. But Detroit obviously consider the favorite there, but Packers not so much.
Yeah, that's certainly the biggest spread there. But 49ers and Packers, there is some history between those two teams in the playoffs. But this different situation here. But can Jordan Love and that young Green Bay team spin their magic one more time? But against another very good team. Solid team offensively and defensively. So that'll be a tough test for them. Let's see. There was a couple other texts coming in. 0366.
Yeah, he's providing the context here. And I think he's right, and I may have ended up using a bad phrase talking about the Aggies, but he said, last segment he said the Aggie basketball team turned it around. I don't know if you're referring to where they were picked, but they had nothing to do with that, so I'm not sure what you meant. They turned it around. Not sure what they meant they turned it around. I think they've just surprised the hell out of everyone, but there was no starting mark to gauge their season on. I think you have to suck before you can turn it around, and this team has never sucked. And so, yeah, if I said turn around, then and I'm sure I did. The listeners all are better at catching that stuff than me remembering. But that would have been a poor turn of phrase because, yeah, the Aggies haven't turned it around aside from being picked 9. So 0366 is right there. So I would have just misspoke there to where the Aggies just really have surprised everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much turned anything around. The only thing they've had to turn around from was the one loss against Bradley. So apologies there for misspeaking.
Yeah.
it is more accurate to say they have just surprised everyone, including myself very much so.
Yeah, it has been a special season with what they've done with what we didn't know about this team moving into the season. But it's certainly a lot of eyes going to be on them tonight. FS1, 8:30 tip-off, and pregame coverage at 7:30 on our sister station, KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM. 9315, texting in, doesn't the NFL know that the full court press is more important? You're in higher status than Peacock.
Yeah, the ratings from what I heard weren't super great on Peacock. I never really saw them, but I heard people talk about how they were lower than typical, just free television you can get from having an antenna.
Yeah.
And I didn't watch that game because I don't have Peacock. I was like, I want to turn on this game. And I was like, it's on Peacock. Never mind.
We had it. You're on the Fan. You could have listened to it on the radio.
That's true. And I was just like sitting at my computer. Usually I'll be working on something and I'll just have a game on. But maybe I could have listened to it instead.
Yeah, there you go. We'll have the games on Saturday and on Sunday, double headers on both. Another timeout here in the Full Court Press. When we come back, the stat that blew our minds and our players of the week.
Hi, this is Shawnee Arby from Cache Valley Bank. I've been with Cache Valley Bank for 26 years and have enjoyed helping my customers reach their financial goals, and I hope to do the same for you. I work with a great team that is dedicated to providing you with the personalized attention you deserve. Stop by our Center Street branch or give me a call and let me show you what opening an account with us can do for you. I look forward to meeting you. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
It's never too late or too cold to get rid of that old vehicle. Now is the time to earn extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage. Let them pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan wants to pay you today. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204 today.
See store for details.
It's ski season, Cache Valley. This is Mark at The Sportsman, where we mount bindings. If you need bindings mounted to your skis or snowboards, in most cases, we can do it in 48 hours or less. That's right, 48 hours or less. At The Sportsman, we can also tune, sharpen, wax, and repair your skis or board so they are ready for the season. Usually, we can get those done in 48 hours as well. For 73 years, we have been taking care of skis and boards only at The Sportsman on Main Street in downtown Logan with tons of parking in the back.
Spice up the winter blues with a delicious outing to Logan's first family-friendly brew pub, Prodigy Brewing. Excited to announce their success at the 2023 Tasting Alliance World Beer Competition. Prodigy Brewing won 3 of the highest medals. Prodigy invites you to try their juicy burgers, sizzling wood-fired pizzas, tasty salads, bar bites, and kids menu. Prodigy Brewing is in downtown Logan, proud to be one of Logan's vibrant downtown food and beverage destinations. Prodigy Brewing, extraordinary service and family friendly.
Crystal Vision would like to thank their clients for their best year yet. They're grateful for your business and trust. It's a new year, so time for a new look. Crystal Vision, the gold medal winner in Best of Northern Utah, has a frame style you'll love that will set you apart from others. Take in your current prescription and let Crystal Vision fit you into a new look. Let this be the year your glasses feel like they were made for you. Crystal Vision on 14th North or online at crystalvision.com.
Interviews, analysis, and a little bit of fun mixed in. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Eric Frandsen, Jason Walker. Utah State on the road tonight taking on New Mexico. Big-time game for the Aggies. Really their toughest test of the season to this point. And New Mexico is the favored team going into this one. So pregame coverage at 7:30 with our good friend Al Lewis and Jalen Moore. And then tip-off will be at 8:30. If you want to watch the game, it'll be on FS1. But if you were out and about, got different things you're doing, you can always keep your radio dialed to 610 AM, 102.1 FM. Full play-by-play coverage there. And then when the game is over, hear it from Coach Sprinkle, and then be able to take your calls. You'll be able to react to the game, win or lose. They'll still have KVNU Aggie call to take your calls and your texts. To finish out the show, let's get into the stat that blew our mind and our player of the week. And let's start off with the stat, shall we?
Let's take a look at the numbers. It's the stat that blew our minds.
He did what?
On the Full Court Press.
Wow, that blew my mind.
All right, Jason, you got a stat?
So, I don't know if it counts as a stat, but it maybe technically is. So in the overtime game, Logan and Mountain Crest, 3 overtimes, only 1 player fouled out. And there were about 5 players who played each one of those overtimes, all 4 minutes of each overtime, with 4 fouls apiece. And 1 player fouled out with about 8 seconds left in the game. And that was the final overtime. They finally fouled out.
Wow.
On a take foul, so it was a purposeful foul, to force free throws, and Logan ends up going the other way and getting the game-winning shot.
That is crazy.
It was insane. I was expecting somebody to foul out. Nobody ever did.
Okay, so the other night, Tim Hardaway Jr. for the Dallas Mavericks, 41 points. He hits 9 3-pointers, and he's perfect at the free throw line. Perfect, 10 for 10. It was their win over the Pelicans on Monday. That's the 14th time in the NBA from 8 different players that somebody scored more than 40, hit more than 9 three-pointers. Has been perfect at the free throw line. But Hardaway, he's the first player among all of those to have a negative plus-minus.
Oh, gosh.
He had a -1.
He's a net negative.
Net negative.
He's like perfect from the field.
Even scoring 41 points and hitting 9 3-pointers.
I feel like this just says more about the team defense than him, because it's more like he just happened to be on the field when everyone else was playing terrible.
Yes, probably something to do with that. So that's our stat that blew our minds. Now
we only got a little bit of time here.
Yeah, but I don't know if we'll have time to play this special music. But your player of the week, Jason.
I'm going with Lauri Markkanen. He's averaging about 26 points, almost 11 rebounds in the last 5-6 games. I don't know exactly when the cutoff line is for a player of the week, but Jazz on a 6-game winning streak. He's averaging I think it's in 26 and 11 over those games.
Very impressive, yes. I'm going to give it to first-year quarterbacks making their playoff debuts. Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud. This is freaky. Love, 16 of 21 for 272 yards and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Stroud, 16 of 21, 274 and 3 touchdowns, no interceptions.